$1 million company. I was like, wow, I really like business. I love doing this. It's just in my blood, right? Since then, I've been the CEO of many, many, many companies, many multi-million-dollar companies. And so when I was introduced to doTERRA, I was not really interested. I did not need to be a distributor, I thought. I own my own companies. I run my own companies. And I remember my husband Patrick met David Sterling, our original CEO. And Patrick came home to me that night, and this is what he said. He said, Alysse, that man, that's who we're supposed to be working with for the next 20 or 30 years. I'm like, crazy. Did you know that it was network marketing? He goes, yeah, I do know that. I'm like, Patrick, no. Like, I won't do that. We run our own companies. We're successful. And he said, Alysse, I feel very strongly that that man and that business, that is what we're supposed to be doing for the next 20 or 30 years. And I said, okay, I trust you. You're my husband. I have followed you throughout my life. But why do you feel this strongly? And he said this. He said, I believe that natural medicine is going to become so important and so popular that everyone will choose natural over over-the-counter prescription drugs. And I think that David Sterling and this company and his partners, Emily Ray and Greg Cook, that they will take it to the rest of the world, and I want to be a part of that movement. And so what I did is I looked at my husband and I said, okay, let me do a little bit of research. Now, I had done business before, and I'd also been a business consultant. So what many people would do is they would bring their companies to me, and they would say, Alysse, I want you to look at this business. I want you to tear it apart. I want you to tell me if it's viable, if it makes sense long-term, and then tell me what to do and what not to do. What should I stop doing and what should I start doing, right? And so I wanted to do that with doTERRA. I wanted to tear it apart. I wanted to look at every single piece. Is this viable long-term? Is this something that I should be involved in? Is it a good decision, right? So that's what I did. I'm going to tell you what I found. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what I found. And I took it apart piece by piece, just as I did other businesses for other people, just like a business consultant would. And this is what I found. Number one. Let's see if it'll move forward for me. There we go. Okay. First, we want to talk about retention rate. Now, I know a lot of people talk about retention rate. Let me tell you basically what retention rate means. Retention rate means when someone purchases something, how long and how often will that person continue to purchase the product? Everyone has retention rates. Insurance companies have retention rate. Google has retention rates. Amazon has retention rates. Any kind of retail store has retention rates. We all have retention rates. What we don't realize is retention rates are so critical and they're so key. This is the key to long-term residual income, is your retention rate. Now, I like to explain it this way. Imagine you have a big bucket, a huge bucket, and someone says to you, your only job is to keep this bucket full of water. That's all you have to do, just keep it full of water. And in this bucket, at the very bottom of the bucket, is a huge hole, a massive hole. So it would be very difficult for you to keep that bucket full of water. You'd be constantly pouring water in. And the second you stop pouring water in, what happens to your bucket? It goes out. So you basically are forever pouring water into that bucket. You're an employee. It's a job, right? Now imagine you have another bucket with a very small hole at the bottom. You still have to keep pouring. You can't just let it sit there and do nothing, but it holds water for a long time, much, much better. That is retention rate. And if someone were to come to you and say, your job is to keep this bucket full, which bucket do you want? What bucket would you choose? The one with the very small hole, right? So basically, I'm gonna give you some statistics that I knew before I even started doTERRA. Let me tell you why I knew them. I was business partners in a previous business with the CFO of Nu Skin. We knew each other, we were business partners, he was my funder in another business. So I knew a lot of statistics about Nu Skin, about other companies, about the industry. I love numbers. My brain works off numbers. So did you know that in our industry, in the direct selling industry, the retention rate, the average retention rate is 8 to 15%, usually 12. So about 8 to 12%, sometimes 15%. Let me tell you what that means. You have to sign up 100 people. Call them, talk to them, teach them a class, get them excited about the product, sign them up online. 100 people, which takes time, for only 5 to 15% of them to keep buying the product over and over and over again, month after month, year after year. And we get paid not by how good we are. We don't get paid based on how motivational we are. We get paid based on how many people buy the product every single month in our organization. That's what we get paid on, right? So that's really sad. That's really hard. And now you understand why in this industry, most people have to be machines. They have to be a machine to succeed. They have to constantly sign people up, go, 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 never letting down, because their bucket has a huge hole at the bottom. And the second they do, their check goes down. That is not residual income. Although we talk about residual income, it is not truly residual income. And that I wanted no part of. Now, I had businesses for many years, and I knew what my retention rates were, right? I knew how many people came back on a residual basis. So, doTERRA's retention rate. It was one of the first questions that I asked David Sterling when I was sitting in his office. Talk to me about your retention rate. And I looked at this. doTERRA's retention rate is not only higher than the average, it's the highest retention rate I've ever seen in my life. The highest retention rate I have ever seen. And I've seen a lot of retention rates. Now, before I get to that number, I'm going to tell you how many companies tweak their retention rate. They make it seem better than it really is. I'm just going to tell you how they do this. They'll say, if they're only open for 1 year, they'll say, our retention rate in small print is based on someone purchasing once in a 1 year period of time. Well, if they're only open for a year, what's their retention rate? Almost 100%. Has nothing to do with if their people are constantly purchasing for them. Or they'll say, our retention rate is based off of a certain rank. Well, you have to buy a product if you're gonna get a check at a certain rank, right? So your retention rate looks really high. Or they will say, our retention rate is based off of someone purchasing once in a 6-month period of time. Well, that doesn't keep my check high. If people are only buying in August and December, does that keep my check high every single month? No. So we're gonna compare apples to apples. And let me tell you what the retention rate means. And if we compared it across the board to all the other companies, it is this. If someone is purchasing at least every 90 days, a minimum of 50 PV. Every 90 days, a minimum of 50 PV. And if you compared that across the entire industry, other companies, the averages are 5 to 15%. doTERRA, 62 to 65% retention rate. I want you to think about this. That's a 4.5 times retention rate. 4.5 times the industry average. It's huge. And what that means, my friends, is I don't have to be a machine for 20 or 30 years. I can still do my business. I can still share the product. I can do what I love. I can keep a little bit of water going in there for a long time, and my bucket stays full. I have long-term residual income, and that was very, very important to me. Retention rate is crucial. It's key. It's the #1 thing. Now, the interesting thing is this. If you look around at the other companies that have high retention rates, we're not the only one. We're the highest, but we're not the only one. There are other companies that have in the 50s retention rates, right? The most interesting thing is this. Every single one of them is an essential oil company. Every single one. Why? Like, that begs the question, why? Why are essential oil companies, why do they have such high retention rates? And we're gonna get into that, okay? So as I'm studying this out, I'm like, this is really interesting. This company has an incredibly high retention rate, right? We're in the middle of, back then, we were in the middle of a recession in the US, right? During a recession, people get rid of everything that is not essential. So I'm like, okay, in the middle of a recession, with a retention rate this high, the products must work. They must work. Now, I want you to write this down. These are things you're going to talk to people. #1 is our retention rate. The first reason why you made a great decision was our retention rate. #2, you ready? Let's talk about market share. So, every company has a certain amount of market share. Now, I'm going to put it into a little bit different context than you're used to. I'm a marketer. I love marketing. I do market research all the time. Even in doTERRA on my own, I do market research. I love it. Market share. Market share basically means what percentage or what piece of the pie of the market are you selling your product to? Can you sell your product to? I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you are selling makeup. You're selling makeup. It's a great makeup line. It's a wonderful product. But right there, just by selling makeup, you have cut the market in half because you don't sell to who? Men. And do you sell to babies? No, babies go out. Do you sell to children? Children go out, right? Do you sell to mostly the elderly? Elderly go out. So here, you don't sell to men, you don't sell to babies, you don't sell to children, you don't sell to the elderly. So you have this portion of the market that you can sell your product to that will buy your product. Weight loss. Let's look at the weight loss market, okay? What kind of a market share does weight loss have? Well, people that are thin, are they gonna buy weight loss products? No, those are out. Thin people are out, okay? What about mostly men are out? If you look at direct sales companies with weight loss, the vast majority are women, ages about 30 to 50. That's their market share. That's who they sell to. There's a company in the US, and they have a great product. It's a memory product. That's what they sell. They sell memory. Let's think about this. Are 20-year-olds worried about memory? No. Are 30-year-olds worried about memory? No. Usually they're not. In fact, their market is from about 45 to 75. Once they're 80, they're not worried about it. They're like, I just don't remember. I don't even care. But 45 to 75, that's their market. Let's talk about our market share in comparison to other products. We sell to children. We sell to adolescents. When I say sell, children use the products, adolescents use the products, men use the products, women use the products, nursing mothers use the products, people that are on medication use the products, elderly people use the products, people that are my age use the products, people that go to college use the products. Every single person on earth is our market. We have the entire market that we sell to that use our products. Can you think of another product in your mind right now that does the same thing? Can you think of another product besides water, besides food? Because that's what we really sell. We sell food. We sell plant food, right? This is one of the reasons why our retention rate is so high. Why many essential oil companies, their retention rate is so high. Because we are selling not to the mom that bought it, we're selling to the entire family. Are you clear? Does this make sense? It's awesome, right? It's awesome. So, the second reason why doTERRA is amazing, why you made such a good decision, is because we have an amazing market share. Amazing. Next, let's talk about the product for a minute. Now, we all know that we have a good product. There are many great products in the market. We do not have an anomaly on good products. We have fantastic products. There are many other companies with good products. But there is one thing that we overlook that makes our product so special, so sticky. It gives us that advantage, the reason why we have such high retention rate, and that is this. Our product is what you call experiential. Let me tell you what that means, okay? If I were to go to somebody and I was selling a weight loss product, can I go up and give somebody a pill and say, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to stand in the mirror, and in 15 minutes, you will lose 50 pounds. Like, that would be a really cool product, right? But that doesn't work. So what you have to do is you have to sell them. You have to sell them on a concept. If you take this pill or whatever you're selling for 30 days, for 60 days, you'll be more satiated. You won't eat as much sugar. You'll start losing weight. You have to sell them. You have to sell them on the results sometime later. Let's talk about like skincare. Can you walk up to somebody and say, put this lotion on your face, and in 10 minutes, your wrinkles will go away? No. Obviously, that doesn't work. What you have to do is you have to sell them on a future that will be less wrinkles. And if you do this, and if you pay for this, and if you use this product, over time, your wrinkles will go away. They don't know right then. They have to believe you, and so you must sell. Are we clear? Our product is the coolest thing. And it's not because it works, even though it does work. It's because it's experiential. It's because I can sit with somebody in a class and be like, oh, you have a headache? I'll put this on. I'll talk to you in 5 or 10 minutes. We'll see how it feels. Oh, you have muscle pain? Well, stick this on. Just 3 or 5 minutes. You'll already know it works. You don't even have to buy it before you know it works. Oh, you've got skin issues? Oh, just put this on. Just try it. I'll call you tomorrow. That skin issue will go away. Oh, you have an upset stomach? I have something for you. Just rub it right here. 10 minutes later, your stomach will feel better. This is incredible, my friends. It's incredible. We take this for granted, but other companies do not have this option. They don't have an option where they can come up with it. Let's even take supplements. You can't take a supplement and in 10 or 15 minutes feel amazingly better. So with supplement companies, they have to sell you on the fact that you are going to, in the future, feel better. Not our product. We just put it on. Now, this is why sampling is so key. If you don't sample our product, you are literally throwing away one of the most differentiating things that we have that other companies don't have. And that is an experiential product. Why did doTERRA go to $1 billion in just 7 years? Why? All we did was we just gave out samples. Try it, try it, try it. Oh, try this, I'll call you, try it. That's it. No one needed to sell. Everyone can give out a free sample. Other people knew that it was working and they wanted to buy it. They came to classes already prepared to buy. We never had to sell, we never had to convince. We let our product do the talking and do the convincing. And we went to $1 billion in 7 years. There's a few other companies that did the same thing. You might know these companies. Google, they went to $1 billion in 7 years. Apple, they were $1 billion company in 7 years. doTERRA, we went to $1 billion in 7 years. In 7 years, my friends. We are on the same trajectory as Google and Apple. And if that is not convincing, I have more. I have more. So the third thing is we have an incredible experiential product. Use it. Take advantage of it. Teach your people to sample. This separates us from so many other companies. Next, our ownership. Now, let's just take a breather. Let's just sit back for just a minute. Let's talk about this. Even if we have a great retention rate, even if we have an incredible market share, even if we have an unbelievable experiential product, if the owners make big mistakes, I'm done. This was my biggest worry. This was my biggest concern. In my other businesses, I had full control. I was the CEO. I was the founder. I could make decisions. But as a distributor, I then had to put all of my future, my money, my hard work. It doesn't matter how good I am. It doesn't matter how talented I am. If I put it into the hands of people that are untalented, that make bad decisions, everything's gone. My time is wasted. And this was my number one concern. This is what kept me from doing things with other people for so many years. I felt more comfortable just saying, hey, I got it. I'll do it on my own. I'll run my own businesses. I will steer the ship because I felt more comfortable. So our ownership. I looked at them. I studied them out. I found out who they were. I looked at their past successes. And this is what I decided. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of background. So I had many companies, right? And I was only able to get them ever to selling about 10 million US dollars a year. That was my cap. We'd get to about 10 million, and I didn't have the talent to go past that. Or I wasn't talented enough to grab more talented people than myself. And so we'd tap out, always 10 million, 10 million. And I'm like, why can't I get past this? So we'd sell the company, we'd start a new one. And we'd grow it, grow it, grow it. And it would be about the same level, and we'd sell the company, we'd start a new one. And so I looked at these owners, and these are men and one woman who had built a $1 billion company before. They'd done it before. They knew what it looked like. They knew how to go internationally. They understood operations. They understood cash flow. They understood all of these things, and they were at a higher level business-wise than I was. And then it was one day, this was the decision-making factor. I was sitting in David Sterling's office, and he said, Alysse, I want to show you something. I'm like, okay. And he goes, do you know how the United States has the Constitution? I'm like, well, of course. And he goes, Alysse, what's the Constitution there for? I'm like, the Constitution is there to make sure no one has too much power. It stabilizes power, so no one has too much power. He said, I basically put a constitution together for doTERRA. I'm like, you did? He said, yes. And let me tell you what it looks like. It makes sure that I can't ever have too much power. It makes sure that none of the owners can ever control and do anything that would harm any distributors. And I looked at this, and it was powerful. And I thought, I've never done that with my companies. I've never been that forward thinking. I've never protected my employees and distributors in a way like they're wanting to protect. I mean, you guys, it had things written like, if an owner ever gets a divorce, what will happen so it will never cause a huge problem in court. I mean, every little thing was detailed. And then he said to me, he goes, I made them all sign it before any of us made any money. Because once money is made, it's hard to sign things, right? And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and this is what he said. He's like, Alysse, your talent is protected here. It's protected. You can grow. He said, you can grow as high as you want to go. There is no ceiling on you. The only ceiling is how hard you want to work, how effective you become, and how inspiring you are. That is your ceiling. And I was impressed. And I thought, I think they will help me with my specific talents go farther than I've ever gone on my own. And they have. I now run almost a $350 to $400 million company a year instead of 10 million. Was it a good choice? Yeah, it was a very good choice. It was a very good choice, right? So, our ownership is diverse. There are 7 of them. Not one person can make a call. There are 7 people that have had over 150 to 160 years of experience in this market, not building companies that fail, but building billion-dollar companies, right? They know what they're doing. In fact, there's been a few times where some hard things have happened to the company. I remember years ago we had something going on with the FDA. And I remember walking into David Sterling's office and I said, "Are you worried?" And this is what he said. He goes, "Oh, Alysse, we've been planning on this for years. We knew that it wasn't if it happened. We knew that it was when it happens, and we have money set aside." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so smart. Like, I love that I'm putting my eggs in your basket. This is awesome. You guys are incredible," right? Over time, you can tell if you can trust someone because they keep their word. And doTERRA has kept their word to me over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now that doesn't mean there's no mistakes or no faults. I mean, every company has mistakes and faults. But you can tell by the fruits. You can tell by the fruits. Our ownership is powerful. It's incredible. It's much better than I was on my own. The next thing. Let's talk about our compensation plan, okay? So, even if we have great retention rate, even if we have an incredible market share, even if we've got unbelievable products and an ownership, if our compensation plan is built in a way that doesn't enable me to have long-term residual income, then this is not where I want to be. Like, I don't want to become a slave to my business, do you? Is that your goal, to become a slave to your business? That's not my goal. That's not why I joined doTERRA. My goal was to work hard, was to use my talents and to bless millions of people's lives and have residual income for generations. I want my grandchildren to get my check, right? Well, I probably won't give it to them because I don't think that's a good thing for grandkids. But anyway, you understand the point, right? So let's talk about compensation plan. You've got to have the right compensation plan, or all of these other pieces, they still don't make sense. doTERRA set up something, there's many different compensation plans, and I could give 2 hours lecture on all the different compensation plans, why they're good, why they're bad, on and on. But I'll just really quickly just say this. doTERRA set up what's called a leadership unilevel compensation plan. And what I mean by leadership is people get paid not based on how many people they sign up. They get paid on how well they develop leadership, train others to do what they're doing. The very top paid people in the company are not the highest people that sign up. They're not the people that sign up the most. They're the people that find the best leaders, train them, and show them how to train other people. They develop leaders. They are leaders of leaders. And the way they set up their compensation plan is very, very unique to this. So some companies will pay, you know how, like in our compensation plan, we get paid 2, 3, 3, 5, 6, but it goes down to 7%, okay? Some companies actually invert that, and they get paid 8% on top, 7%, 6%. And I once had this guy walk up to me and he said, "You have the suckiest compensation plan I've ever seen. It's terrible." I'm like, "Okay, well, why would you say that?" And he said, "Well, in my company, I get paid 7% on my front line. You guys get paid 2%. And I asked him, "Well, what do you get paid on your 7th level?" And he goes, "Well, we get paid, I don't know, 3%. I wanted to say so badly, I really wanted to say, you weren't very good at math in school, were you? But I didn't. I kind of kept my mouth shut. And I looked at him and I said, okay, how many people do you have on your front line? He said, I don't know, maybe 50, maybe 100. I'm like, okay, how many people do you have on your 7th level? He goes, several thousand. And I'm like, and would you rather make 3% or 7% on those 7,000? And he goes, oh. And I said, the problem with your compensation plan is the company is actually incentivizing you to put people on your front line. If you get paid more, everyone's going to put people on their front line. How many people can you handle? Can you handle 50 people calling you? That's kind of hard, right? What about 100? How about, could you handle 1,000 people that call you and ask you questions? What about 10,000 people? Could you handle 10,000 people? I mean, obviously no. On my 7th level, I have hundreds of thousands of people that I'm getting paid 7% on. Do I talk to those people? No, they have other people helping them. I talk to my front line. How many people do I have on my front line? 24. 24 people. I can talk to 24 people. Do you understand the concept? In my business, I have 1.5 to 2 million people in my entire business. I can't talk to all of them, so we set up a leadership compensation plan that we get paid based on how we lead, how we motivate, and how we teach other people to lead. Then, the next part of our cool compensation plan is we don't just wait and get paid a bunch after a while when you get to the 7th level, but we have something super cool called the Power of 3. In fact, it pays out more than any other comp plan I've seen. Do you know how much the Power of 3 pays out? It pays out 85%. That's a lot. You can actually make $1,500 for only having 40 people in your organization. I've never seen a plan that pays out that much percentage with so few people. So we have the Power of 3 available, we have fast starts for when you first start going, and then our compensation builds. Now I want to say one thing. Let me go forward and see if I have okay. Let me go back. Ooh. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm gonna get to it in a minute. So, my husband and I, we're kind of nerds when it comes to computer charts, figuring out numbers. Like, we're nerds. Like, we do all these crazy things, and we're like, what if this, and what if that, and what if this, and what if that, right? And I don't want to blow your minds, but I'm going to blow your mind. Do you want me to blow your mind for just like 15 seconds here? Are you ready? So, we are going for triple presidential. You know that once you become a presidential, then you can do it again. But you don't do it again on your front line. You actually do it again underneath you. So what that means is you have a second position and you make twice the money on that second position. You get paid here and you get paid here. Do you get this? Your money starts to compound. And if you understand the principle of compounding, it doesn't just add on each other, it compounds. So then, the third time you build it out, you don't get just paid once or twice. Now I get paid 3 times because I have 3 positions. Do you understand? You don't understand? Yes. Do you understand? And think about fast starts. I get paid all 3 fast start levels because I'm enrolled to myself, which is enrolled to myself, right? So my husband and I had this crazy thought. We're like, what if we built 7 presidential lines? What if we did that? What if every year we built out a presidential line? What if we built 7 of them? How much money would we make? We just wanted to know. So we made some, assumptions. They were good assumptions. And as you know, that starts to build, and that starts to compound. So basically what I'm asking is, what would happen if I get paid all of the unilevel, all 7 levels? What would happen if it was going to me? Do you know what happens? How much money do you think, right now, okay, I'm gonna give you a little hint. Right now, I make about $300,000 a month. I'm a triple diamond. I'm not yet presidential, so I'll make more when I get there. $300,000 a month, right? $300,000 US a month. How much do you think I would make if I was 7 times? 7. Any guesses? Here in the front that I can hear? Yeah, what? No guess? How much do you think I would make? Take a guess right here. What? Okay, he says 1 million a month. Okay, any other guesses? What? Okay, he says 3 million a month, yeah. How much? 3, okay. Guess what it is? $6 million every single month. That's $72 million a year. That's almost $1 billion in 12 years, my friends. Like, my husband and I were like, dude, we don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to do anything else. All we have to do is build this business. That's all we have to do. Just build this business. Like, I would be an idiot doing something else. It doesn't even make sense. I cannot compound things like that. I did all of this study. And I was like, you know what? I feel confident. I went to my partners that I had at the time. And my business, my friends, was doing really well. We were killing it at the time. My last business. And I went to them and I said, you now own my shares. They're like, what? I'm like, well, we have a contract that if I do anything else, that I forfeit my shares, and you now own my shares. Those shares at the time were worth $4 million. Was I taking a risk? I walked away from $4 million, went into a business that I knew nothing about. I had never talked to one person. I had never signed one person up. I didn't even know if the oils worked yet. I was like, but I think deep blue feels good. And I went to work. We went diamond in 62 days. Like, not one person claps for that. Wow. Takes a lot to impress Brazilians. It takes a lot to impress Brazilians. They're like, that's no big deal. My friend right here, he went diamond in 3 days. Get off the stage, Alysse. Go home to America. In 8 months, I was blue diamond. Okay, thank you. In a year and a half, I was presidential. In 2.5 years, I was double. Now I get the choice right now to decide how much time I want to put into the business. Whether I want to focus on other things, my kids, my business. I'm always doing the business, but I get the choice, right? And I choose to be here in Brazil. I choose. Can I tell you 2 things? Like, if someone tells you that everything is positive in a business, they're lying. I've never seen a business that's all positives, all pros, no cons. It won't happen. So I'm going to give you a couple of cons, and I want you to just shut your ears, close your eyes, maybe walk out of the room, okay? Because it's not all pros. It can never be all pros. And if you can handle the cons for doTERRA, you have found a home forever. So can we talk about the cons? Number 1, we have what's called an educational curve, my friends. So we don't have a product that you go, drink this drink, and go get 10 of your friends to drink this drink. And they go get 10 of their friends to drink this drink. That's all you need to know. You'll feel amazing. Essential oils has an educational curve. There's a lot to know about essential oils. Like, what if I have diabetes? What if I have, skin issues? What if my baby's only 3 months old, right? I have a brand new grandchild. She's 12 days old today. She got bronchitis day 3. So sad. My daughter was constantly calling me, Mom, what oils, what do I do? How do I do it? I'm like, do this, do this, do that. It takes time. There's an educational curve. Now, I still went diamond without knowing all those things, but there is an educational curve that we need to know. And some people are frustrated by this curve. What this means is that we will always be educating. I do a ton of education. I do a ton of continuing education. I teach people about hormones, and I teach people, I mean, in India, that's all they want to know. It's a brand new market. They're like, teach us about this, teach us about this, teach us about pain management. Alysse, we just want to know, we want to know. And I'm constantly teaching. That's what I'll do for the rest of my life. I'm going to be teaching and educating forever. If you don't like that, that might be a hard thing for you in this business. We have an educational curve, and it takes longer. But once people understand the power of essential oils, once they get that 85 to 90% of the time, almost everything that happens to your kids, you can handle with natural things. And that's powerful. You guys, I have 5 kids. I've done this for 13, almost 14 years. Well, no, 13 years. The only time I take my kids to the doctor is when they break bones. And I don't say, well, let's put a little bit of rosemary on that. I actually take him and we go set the bone, right? I've fixed everything in my house. Pink eye, colds, flus, and dare say, COVID-19, can I even say that here? Maybe I can't. I'll just get slapped. My hand will get slapped on the way out, right? Everything. Acne, problems with back issues. I mean, everything. It's awesome. There's an educational curve. How many of you are willing to educate? Is that what you love to do? If you're willing to educate, you're in the right place. Okay? The second con. I don't even really think the first one is a con, but some people do. Some people are like, gosh, this is a lot of education. Oh my gosh, I constantly have to be teaching people. Well, yeah, that's what we do. We teach people about the cool things of essential oils. The second thing. You know how I told you about our compensation plan? That actually you get paid 7% on the 7th level, right? 6th and 7th level. 7th level. It takes some time to have a ton of people hit that 7th level. It doesn't happen month 1, month 2, month 6. In fact, I was frustrated. The first 6 months, I'm like, I'm working hard. I'm hitting high ranks. But my unilevel check was teeny. It was growing so slow. It was growing painfully slow. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is hard. This is growing so slow. But then what happened is about year 2.5. I was in it for 2.5 years. And all these people started hitting my 6th and 7th level. And I just kept going consistently. Go, 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 consistently. And then what happened is my check started to jump every month. I'm not joking. This is not a lie. By 5 to 7 grand a month. It looked like this. 35,000, 40, 42,000, 52, 57, 63, 69, 70, 83, 85, 92, 98, 100. It kept growing, and me and my husband were like, oh my gosh, this is incredible! What the heck is happening? We were like, we can't stop this check from growing. It just grows no matter what we do. And it grew to about 150 grand. Sorry, I made a baby cry. She's like, that lady is scary on stage. It grew to about $150,000 a month. And then a lot of that volume was below, right? They're at 13th, 14th level, so it kind of evened off. My husband and I said, let's do that again. So we did. We built a second presidential lake. And it was painfully slow. And the unilevel took a long time. And then around 2 years, 2.5 years, boom, 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 boom. And we're like, holy cow, it's happening again. So it grew. And then my husband and I said, let's do that again. You know, I tell my leaders, the people that come and want to work with me, I say, listen, if you don't give this at least 2 to 2.5 years, and I'm not saying you casually do the business, I'm saying you do your stuff every single day, every week, month after month, for 2.5 years, you will build an income for decades, my friends. 4 decades. My check is going nowhere. Nowhere. But if you come in and you say, oh, I'm going to try it for 6 months. I'm going to try it for 4 months. I usually look at them and say, you're better off just using the product, healing your children, and going and doing another business, because that is not how doTERRA works. So if you're okay with delayed gratification, if you can work your tail off for 2 to 2.5 years, you have found a home forever. Forever. I am so grateful. There is never a day that goes by that I don't thank God for the decision that I made to join this company. I am so grateful. Can I just give you one last thing? I didn't want to make money so I could buy a nice house. I didn't want to make money so I could buy a nice car. In fact, we still live in the same house that we did before we started doTERRA. I wanted to make money so I could change lives. My husband and I made a really, really solid promise, a covenant with God when we were in our 20s, a long time before doTERRA. And we covenanted to give 90% of everything we ever made in our entire lives to other people. That's what we promised to do. And we have kept that promise. When the Ukraine war broke out, and there were millions of refugees that were flooding out of Ukraine. My husband is Czechoslovakian. We lived in Europe for 5 years. We just barely moved home, right? We have a hotel there that we were training a lot of people. And within 3 days, we were able to turn that hotel into a refugee center. And we brought in the refugees. We had money to feed them. We had money to clothe them. We had money to get them started in their new lives. We had money to help them start businesses. We had money to send them places in the world where they'd be safe forever. That was because of doTERRA. That was my doTERRA check. That was only possible because what I'm doing right now with you. And if you have dreams to change people's lives, if you want to be more than just you, if you want to be more than just nice houses and vacations and cars, if you want to impact so many people in the world, you are in the right place. You're in the right place. I love you. I'm going to India because I want to change millions of lives in India. There are a lot of people in India that need help. There are a lot of people in Brazil that need help. There are a lot of Ukrainians that need help. The world needs us. They need people that are covenanted. They need people that are committed. They need people that are not selfish. They need people that want to work hard. They need people, and God needs people that are committed to doing the right thing because we love others. That's what we need. That's what the world needs. And when we do that, we are happy. I have never been happier in my life. I love who I'm becoming. I love what it's teaching my children. I love the leaders I get to work with. And the reason why I want to make more, I remember I had this lady walk up to me. She was disgusted by me. She had heard about me. She thought, oh, Alysse is so into money. She walked up to me at leadership and she looked at me, this is what she said. She goes, when is enough for you, Alysse? Like, when will you ever be satisfied? Well, obviously she doesn't know me, right? She doesn't know my motivations. And I looked at her and I said, when God tells me it's enough. So, Brazil, you have such talent. You have such incredible leadership. You have such amazing people. You have unbelievable corporate. Don't let bickering and fighting and worrying about this and that and am I going to make this money? Am I going to make that money? Somebody stole this from me. That is beneath us. It's beneath us. Let's just worry about doing what we need to do to bless people's lives, and God will magnify us. One last comment. I'm sitting in David Sterling's office, and he looks at me. I'm bawling. I'm literally bawling. I have 5 kids. I was all over the country. And I look at him, I'm like, what am I doing? I have 5 little kids. My baby is 2.5 years old. Why am I all over? And I thought what he was going to say is, just be patient, Alysse, just be patient. This is not what he said. He grabbed underneath, this is the type of ownership we have in doTERRA. Underneath his desk, he grabbed a Bible, the scriptures, and he pulls it out and he opens it up. He starts reading to me out of the scriptures and he says, you know what your problem is, Alysse? I'm like, please tell me what my problem is. I really want to know what my problem is. And he said, your problem is this. You do not let God magnify your efforts. You try to do everything yourself. I was like, what does that even mean? Like, I understand the words, I just don't understand the practical implications of that. And he says, oh, keep coming back and I'll tell you what it means, Alysse. And I did. And he taught me. And he changed my soul. And God magnified me. I am not enough to do what has happened in my organization. I am not enough to have this type of success. I am not enough. But God is. And he can do that for Brazil. Brazil can be amazing. Thank you, I love you. I hope to be back soon.
Say is thank you. Thank you for doing this. I've got a question. I'm going to whisper it to you first.
Okay. No, I never did.
I'm going to explain. Eu queria explicar alguma coisa para vocês. Alysse veio aqui. Nós não pagamos para ela vir. Ela veio porque nós fizemos convite because we invited you. And you were kind to do that. Not because we paid you. Não é legal? Ok. Outra. Alysse didn't fly, I'll say this in English so she can hear it. She didn't come here business class. She has the money to do it. But she's using her money to bless other people, so she flew in just a normal plane seat. That's painful. I don't know how she does that. I can't do that. Way to go. And the amount of travel that she does, she's still giving. And we're so thankful to you for doing that and sacrificing for us and what you've helped us with. You represent what we hope to be. You represent what doTERRA is. We have a special gift that we want to
thank
give you before you leave.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we have this that is unique to leaders in Brazil. Since you're a big leader for us,
Thank you.
nós só líderes do Brasil tem esse colar. E ela agora é uma líder nossa, ela é uma líder do Brasil.
Estamos adotando, Alysse.
Thank you. I hope to see you soon. Will you invite me back?
Obrigado.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Que intensidade, não é? É impressionante como ela está aqui falando, empolgada e tal, e de repente ela vem para cá e fala que tem 5 filhos e volta como se nada tivesse acontecido. Não é assim? E foi muito legal porque ela falou sobre retenção, falou sobre market share, falou sobre produto incrível, falou sobre plano de bonificação. E é muito legal porque depois teremos outros líderes que foi uma baita introdução porque eles vão falar. Mas nesse momento, né, chegou uma hora que vocês gostam bastante, que é do sorteio. Quem já levou o produto para casa ou quem vai levar agora? Vamos lá. Sensacional. Então vamos lá, o que nós vamos sortear agora? Kit culinária. Muito bom. Muito bom. Esse até eu quero. Deu água na boca só de pensar no que está escrito ali dentro daquele livro. Solta pra gente, produção, por favor. Quem vai levar esse kit culinária para casa agora? Hoje 11962. Ana Luísa Vieira Assunção. Tá aí, Ana Luísa? Tá, já tô vendo um burburinho lá atrás, lá, ó, muito legal, Ana Luísa. Passa lá no balcão de brinde, do lado lá do credenciamento, e você retira o seu prêmio lá, tá bom? São 3 sorteios, produção? São 3? Temos mais um? Roda o número.
Lá da Gil, lá, ó.